Hey guys, these foreigners are really disrespectful. I'm really not surprised that we're seeing such a big movement in the country, né? That is specifically talking to this illegal immigration, uncontrolled mass migration into South Africa, irregular uh, migration into our homeland. Because what we have been seeing recently, migrants have been given this power to think that they're above the law. Because we have people that are totally against us, like Malema and his minions, which we can all see that over the years they have just been a big part into contributing and encouraging illegal immigrants, African immigrants, to just come into our country without care and without even trying to respect our laws. And now you just see how brazen they are. And it is specifically this type that is mainly at the forefront. This type, I won't mention about this type. You can see for yourself. But we are seeing this type being a big problem. And we know some of them are in the spaza shop mafias, wholesale mafias, and these big shops now which are selling clothes and all those. You see a lot of them in small street. Oh, used to before the Joburg mayor cleans a lot of them out. But the level of disrespect, the level of no regard for people's laws that we see with these people is really a big problem. Because why am I saying this? Is that when you go to a country, you try to respect the people's laws. You don't go there and then try to become big papa now. Wabon. So if we're going to be having migrants like this, we really need to deal with them harsh if it needs to be. And the president needs to get to a point where he tells the whole world that why is it if it's any other country, like right now we're looking at Ireland, totally having no power or control over the citizens, the vigilante groups that are targeting the African migrants, just because one Ugandan person injured a citizen severely, and that got them angry, which is right. You need to be angry if somebody is going to come into your country and they should be behaving. The law needs to deal with them. So what I'm going to show you now is a classic example of how the law really needs to be dealing with these foreigners. You can't be a foreigner and expect that there are going to be favors done for you. Over the years, South Africans have learned to respect the law and the laws of this country. But foreigners just come and they see their master shooting guns, going to court, being sentenced to like 5 or 7 years. And then he now goes to the High Court and he's still not out of prison. He's busy now suing people for talking about him when he talks about people every now and again. So this guy's really like, he's enabling these people. He's making them feel the power as if they're now powerful. So I want you guys to actually watch this clip here.
Fall down.
I don't want anybody near me. No.
You're pushing.
I don't want anybody
You're
near me.
pushing. I'm arresting you. I'm arresting you. Then get in the back of the bed. Get in the back of the bed.
Look at how difficult he's playing. Pushing an officer, wanting to have his own terms. And they're not even taking him and throwing him in there, which is what they should be doing. Because you are a shebeletse in. Re shebelletse eng. Ntho taba ba mo manhandle ba mo lahlela ka moo. Ba mo lahlela ka koloi yewe. For him, tama hlomphe molao wa naha. This guy, this police officer, I'm arresting you, my guy. I'm arresting you, my guy. Lahlela mntu ka moo, wa bona wa mtshwara mos.
Get in the back of the van. Get in the back of the van. I'm arresting you for driving under the influence. No. Get in the back of the van.
Yeah, listen, all of them is coming. If I can drive it.
We will leave it here. Which one?
So drunk, but you can still think about the car. Hey man, you're being arrested. The police, one of the police will take the car, go put it at the station.
We will leave it here. Where is it? I will leave it here. If that's the case, I will leave it here. There's problem.
Because nobody's willing to fight for me about
Please, my brother, my big brother. Please take, please.
Push me.
Fall down.
I don't want anybody near me.
You are pushing.
I don't want
Okay, now one of his brothers has got to now ask him. They're now having to ask him, please, my man, just comply with these officers. But if it was American officers, they would have thrown him in there. He would have obliged. And on top of obliging, he would have been a very good boy. If it was American, he would have complied and became a very good boy. But because South Africans, they always soft about it, taking the other approach, going slowly, asking, kancane, trying to sympathize with these criminals. Somebody who's driving under the influence, you know you're a foreigner. What are the Zulus saying again? Abokfika. You know you are obokfika. But you are not trying to comply with the laws of this country. Why not? So I actually want us to listen to this lady, and she actually explains it to all of us in a way that I think a lot of us could understand. Because if you come into another country irregularly, whether legally or illegally, you're supposed to come there and try to respect the laws of the country. And not come and be your own boss there. Wafihla. Try to be respectful.
I mean, if I'm doing all the things, and I know a lot of Nigerians that didn't. So like you
It says Nigerians. Mind you, Nigerians. Nigerians are the biggest problems in the world. In the world. Well, in South Africa, we could have other people. But Nigerians all over the world. Why are people wanting Nigerians to live so bad? As a people, we really need to come to have a conversation about it. And Nigeria needs to take accountability, because everywhere they go, they become a problem. They become the biggest problems that we've seen all over the world.
I don't like how the whole situation is becoming a pity party when they ignore that the people who are being chased out are not law abiding.
Law abiding. Try to respect the laws of a people's country. Try to go there and actually integrate. A lot of the foreigners coming to South Africa do not want to integrate. They want to stay with their own brothers all the time. They move in their own circles everywhere. They hire each other in their own businesses without even hiring anybody else. If they hire other people, it will only be at the bottom. Management, supervisory roles, and all of those will be them, unless they can't do the work. Like most of the time, they can't sue. They can't sue a government to save their life. So they would not have those positions. But the manager managing that supervisor will definitely be one of them. If they Portuguese, they will all be Portuguese. If they Chinese, they'll all be Chinese. If they well, let's put those Africans aside, but mainly the like Somalians and then the others, Pakistanis and so forth. That's mainly how they operate. Then the Nigerians, not a lot of them operate in businesses. It'll only be these sponsorships, which I do not understand. Why do we need those kind in our country? But that's not the purpose of the video. The purpose of the video is respecting of laws. And all the time when you listen to these people talk, you will never hear them take accountability. And that is what is actually causing the division between us, the government, and a lot of the people that are pro foreigners.
Let me say this, Ashford. It's kind of bewildering to me that, again, if I'm somewhere and I'm illegal or undocumented, I'm going to be very, very quiet.
Yes.
I'm going to be hoping, because I'm already illegal and
Other people aren't quiet. They go and sell these Dwellings drugs. Secondly, they also go out of this to actually go and inflict fear in the hearts of the citizens by actually having firearms, more dangerous weapons than the regular citizen. And a lot of them are so wealthy, so well organized, that the citizens can't even compete. And then they go and hijack buildings. And then how are you going to be expecting these people to lie low? Because now they need to enforce themselves. They need to enforce their dominance. They need to enforce and show their force of power, that what they can do. And then people and their citizens get so scared that at a certain point it becomes to a boiling point, that when a person like Jacinta finally stands up, citizens decide that we are going to rally behind her because she's now finally speaking for us.
undocumented. I'm going to be hoping to slip through the cracks. If you know what I mean, I'm going to be hoping nobody pays me any attention. I'm not going to be doing, I'm not going to be telling the natives, I ain't going nowhere. I'm not going to be fighting. I'm not going to be doing any of that. I'm going to be very, very quiet.
And that is mainly who? The Zimbabweans and the Lesotho guys. Especially these that are coming with bad intentions. Especially these ones coming to come and do things like Buzama Zama.
Quiet and very, very humble, and I'm going to seek help. So they are very verbal, and if I was here, and I am here legal, I wouldn't go anywhere. I mean, if I'm doing all the things, and I know a lot of Nigerians that didn't. So like you said, those who left are illegal. So you made your point, definitely. I don't.
So that's one other thing about actually trying to respect the laws in people's countries. Why can't just people do that? What is so hard about going somewhere, being a visitor, and then being respectful? Like being respectful, humble, and appreciative that you're coming from a country where you would rather die here than to go back home. That means where you're coming from, it's not nice. It's not nice, my guy. But you are continuing to become disrespectful, unruly, and you think you now own the country. That is the problem that we have with a lot of our African migrants. They are very disrespectful. So we've also recently seen how they deal with them in Ireland. And that's not what I think our people really want to see happening to them, or us actually going to that level, which I really hope it never happens, because that would also be destroying our own country, especially in the situation that we are in. We are unlike Ireland, but we have got all these stupid treaties that people want to try and threaten us with. Stupid treaties that you just never really understand. And they make these people think that they can they can make demands. Why should we care what these African so-called leaders, because they are useless, well. When somebody is useless, their threats should actually remain nothing, because Vale is coming from a useless person. And useless in the context of they've never achieved anything. Their threats mean nothing. They're just empty words. Empty words that even they can't even action it themselves. They can't even fix their own countries, their own immediate solutions. Only thing they can do is loot, go after power. And that is what Africa is subjected to in this century. It is the worst of the worst. Unproven people, the worst of the worst. And when I talk about people who somehow think that they are some leaders, like for some reason, what they say holds weight. So we're going to be listening to this lady in this video right now, guys. Yo, hey, who is this person? If anybody of you knows them, please let me know, because I don't. And we really don't need to be knowing these kind of people, because they are useless, man. You only see them talking about such, but you would never hear them talking about Boko Haram and how Nigeria has failed to deal with these people. And they're just living every day as if nothing has happened, as if it is normal for kids to disappear. Hey, you know what's happening in Nigeria. I won't really get into those details. Don't want to get demonetized or whatever. So guys, let's listen to what. Okay, let's start with the caption. I want to start. The caption says, "You must be smoking something from Nigeria. We don't want illegal foreigners in SA. What about human rights of South Africans? Our dignity, our pride, and our sovereignty. They must go home and they enjoy their human rights in their countries. We don't care." And I second this post. We don't care about the human rights of other Africans, especially if they come into this country to commit the most heinous of crimes and they never take accountability, and then the government protects them. That cannot be the order of the day. That can never be the order of the day. In our own country, allow migrants, immigrants that are coming here illegally to disrespect our laws and us, and then we're just gonna sit quiet, all in the name of AU. None of South Africans were there, just only those ANC elites that have long detached from the ground. That is why they're losing all of these numbers that they've been losing.
Greetings to you, the citizens of Southern Africa, the citizens of Africa, those in Africa and even in the diaspora. My name is Dr. Abigail Mpambi, Deputy High Commissioner and Secretary General of the Southern African Human Rights Lawyers High Commission, addressing you today on the 12th of June 2026.
But also, this is a lawyer. So every time people, these lawyers, secretary generals, high commissioners, they're all useless because they go to the highest bidder. So you already know the intention that's coming from is just for them to continue making money. Go to those things that she's going to propose. Try and actually milk money and stay relevant. Because without this, they've got nothing else to say. They will never speak out against the people that are doing the real bad all over Africa. So you must always listen to what they say with caution and trying to understand where could this person be coming from. And like always analyze these people. What is driving them? But it is never about actually making their countries better. It is always about forcing South Africa to take burdens of this whole Africa.
Members of the media, distinguished guests, fellow Africans. The Southern African Human Rights Lawyer, High Commission, a regional human rights watchdog with membership drawn from across the 16 SADC member states, has formally petitioned both the Southern African Development Community SADC and the African Union regarding the persistent xenophobic violence in the Republic of South Africa, targeting mainly, and sadly so, African nationals. The intervention follows the visible failure of the state of South Africa to adequately protect foreign nationals residing within its borders. The Commission strongly believes that South Africa is in breach of its obligation under the African Union Constitutive Act, the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, the SADC Treaty, and various international human rights instruments, including the 1951 Refugee Convention. The repeated attacks against foreign nationals, coupled with inadequate prevention, investigation, and prosecution of perpetrators, constitute a serious violation of human rights under international law. Accordingly, the Southern African Human Rights Lawyers High Commission calls upon SADC to urgently place South Africa's compliance with Article 4C of the SADC Treaty on the agenda of its relevant
Compliance with Article 4C. I don't know why this person speaks like this, but to address some of these things that she's talking about, these things were done by these ANC officials, not by any of us. But we still have to be taking all of these things that these people are trying to say. We didn't ask for this African unity, especially if it has to be happening here. And what I want to see is African leaders taking responsibility and saying, we are bad. That is why our people cannot even begin to want to stay in their country or even come back. They cry so bad to stay in South Africa. So as long as these presidents and leaders that are toothless in Africa have never fixed anything, I don't see this happening. These threats, I want to challenge them and see where they will end up in the next 3 months. There will still have been nothing. Somebody please remind me to follow up on this
organ and to consider appropriate measures in response to this quagmire. We further call upon the African Union to place this matter on its formal agenda and invoke its mandate under Article 7 of the EU Constitutive Act to address persistent violations of human rights obligations by a member state. The Commission further recommends and urges SADC and the African Union to consider immediate accountability measures towards South Africa.
Hear that it's always accountability measures against South Africa, but never against these illegals. Who will want a bad guest in their house?
SADC level measures recommended. 1. To consider convening an immediate extraordinary summit to address the South Africa's compliance with Article 4C. 2. Suspension of South Africa's participation in SADC sectorial committees related to trade, industry, and human development until compliance with benchmarks.
Suspend them, see what will happen.
3. Targeted travel restrictions on senior officials found to have failed their duty to prevent or prosecute xenophobic violence consistent with SADC protocols on accountability.
Do that. We also need them to spend more time actually focusing on what's happening in South Africa and not in Africa and the whole world. So that will actually be a positive for South Africans. No lies. Like, South Africans will really be happy to hear Ramaphosa say that he will not be taking any trip for the next year. He will just be focusing on South African matters. And worse, you're just a South SADC region. Got no powers. Imagine all of these presidents in the SADC. They are literally sucking up to Ramaphosa and the ANC government. So when you speak what you are speaking, you actually don't know these people, that they actually love Ramaphosa. And I don't see them backing out of him for you and your useless organization.
4. Review of South Africa's hosting of regional institutions and events to ensure that regional solidarity is not undermined by internal conduct contrary to SADC values.
Thank you, I'd appreciate that.
AU level measures as recommended by the Commission. 1. Suspension of South Africa's voting rights in AU policy organs under Article 23 of AU Constitutive Act. Should the Peace and Security Council determine there is a grave breach of human rights?
I would prefer that they just get out of that AU, like in totally abandon it, because it's useless. What is the AU's powers? What can they actually do?
2. Mandating an AU fact-finding mission with powers to report publicly on state response and victim protection. 3. Conditionality on AU peace and security support to South Africa until clear reforms are implemented in policy, prosecution, and victim redress mechanisms. 4. Targeted sanctions against individuals responsible for perpetuating or enabling impunity.
This lady, what is she, Zimbabwean? This Zimbabwean lady all of a sudden thinks that she's the president of America. She can just go around making sanctions. Targeted sanctions against certain individuals, targeted sanctions against those perpetrators doing so and so. Yo, Africa is a joke. I'm sure Europeans are just looking at what powers can this one have. I would like to see them actually do this to one of the presidents or the countries that are leading in Africa.
Let me be clear. These proposed measures are not directed to the ordinary people of South Africa. They are rather intended to uphold the principle that no member state and no public official is above regional and international law. Accountability is not punishment. It is a necessary safeguard for justice, human dignity, and regional solidarity. We would like to acknowledge efforts made by various regional and international organizations supporting the victims in South Africa, and also efforts by certain countries in sending repatriation missions to rescue respective affected citizens. These countries include Nigeria, Ghana, Malawi, Mozambique, Angola, Zimbabwe, among others. As the Southern African Human Rights Lawyers High Commission, we reaffirm our unwavering commitment to serving as a vigilant regional watchdog for human rights, democracy, constitutionalism, and the rule of law throughout Southern Africa, in Africa, and beyond. We will continue to monitor developments, advocate for victims, engage regional and international institutions, and pursue all.
But also, we are victims of the many crimes that these people come and bring into our country. Like, we are victims of people that are prepared to break the laws, come to a country, accept cheap labor, accept being manufacturers and distributors of drugs in the communities that we live in. We must be the ones accepting how these people turn our cousins, our kids, our loved ones into zombies because of all these dangerous drugs that they feed them. But this lady and all of these African leaders, they don't come and say that on every Sunday we see our African brothers in South Africa being caught selling the most heinous of things to the community. Southern Africa hates us, South Africa. They hate us. These people hate us. These people hate us. And we always listen to it and we never hit back. These people hate us. And we're supposed to accept that because our presidents and our ruling party has been so soft for so long. Why can't we be like Poland and Ireland? Cease, man.
Lawful mechanisms necessary to ensure accountability and the protection of human rights. We believe that every human being, regardless of color, race, nationality, or place of residence, deserves equal protection, dignity, security, and access to justice. We therefore call upon SADC and the AU, member states, civil society, and all people of conscience to stand firm in defense of these principles, to ensure that African solidarity remains rooted in respect for human rights and human dignity. I thank you.
Hi, we also thank you for wasting our time. Marahe, what we can assure you is that South Africa is for South Africans. Just like you too in your country, Zimbabwe is for Zimbabweans. So there can never be a time where we sacrifice who we are and actually feel like we don't belong or we can't say anything just because you want to continue to allow human traffickers, bomb traffickers, and all of these dangerous weapons and substances to come into our country just in the name of African unity. SADC unit. When Mokwanas has just warned us that there are cartels in the SADC region that are controlling these things, and they want all of these things that they are distributing to be easily distributable within the borders in the SADC area. Malema has just been caught out that he's also part of these syndicates. He speaks like you, so he's probably in alliance with you. He's got political parties all over Africa. That means he's got his hand, his foothold all over Africa. He's controlling all of you. That's why we have people starting to have words like Malema wants to unite Africa. But no, Majanga Commission comes and says, no. This person has got WhatsApps in their phone, and this WhatsApp shows that this person is enabling these things, political protection. So Africans must always be skeptical of these people that speak like Malema. Especially these Zimbabweans. This Zimbabwean lady. You must be careful of these Zimbabweans. Guys, I give up. I made this video so that you guys can actually see how these Zimbabweans and Malema works with them and these other countries. Because we never really have problems with countries like Namibia. We never have problems with countries like Botswana, Swaziland. We never have problems with these people. It is just the few that are a problem. Guys, please do like, share, subscribe. I'll see you on the next video. Danko.